This is going to be an interesting conversation here tonight, man. I want to hear because I want to touch up on some of the stuff that AI was saying. AI was saying, like I said, from people of Frederick Douglass, and they were even saying Nat Turner was inspired and stuff as well too. So we want to go ahead and we'll touch up on some of this stuff as well too. So I see DJ done made it up in here. What's up, DJ? What's going on with you? For all my people coming on YouTube tonight, y'all make sure y'all go ahead, like, share, subscribe to the channel. Click the notification bell as well too, guys. Click that notification bell. I want to hear what people got to say. This is going to be an interesting one tonight. Like I said, there's some articles, online, AI and everything else was saying, talking about this as well too, about a possible inspiration of Black Americans. So I want to hear, Melissa, I saw earlier today you tweeted out, you said, I know you said no, they weren't inspired. So shout out to you if you get a chance to speak as well tonight. And I see my girl Gone Fishing down there. Stephanie, we ain't never going back to our original profile, are we? Because you put this Gone Fishing, you've been on Gone Fishing for a hot minute. So shout out to my girl Stephanie down there as well too. Shout out to the co-hosts and everybody coming in. Y'all definitely go ahead and retweet out this space. We're gonna get this thing rolling. DJ, what's going on, man? How you doing tonight?
All is well, all is well. Shout out to the wrong news turtle. Let's get it.
Yes, sir. Look like Professor. I know Professor said he was walking in the neighborhood, so he disconnected. So I'm sure he'll be back up as well too. So shout out.
Yeah, this space glitched the moment I came up in here too, man. You know, Twitter, man. Oh my God.
No, the space was glitching when you came up in here. Hopefully it ain't gonna be.
It could be just a delay.
Yeah, hopefully it ain't gonna be too many connection issues up in the space tonight as well too, man. And like I was saying, DJ, I put in a search with the exact same title on Google, and we got some AI responses as well too. And I want to read that real quick. The AI responses. Stay up here real quick. Let me go ahead and pull that up real quick. Couple of the AI responses. Let me know if you can't hear me. If you're having any issues, let me know as well too. So give me.
No, you good. Go ahead.
Okay, so I put in, did the Haitian Revolution inspire Black Americans? And this was AI. The AI overview on Google says yes, the Haitian Revolution, 1791 to 1804, significantly influenced Black Americans, serving as a powerful symbol of resistance and a beacon of hope for freedom and equality, particularly for those enslaved or struggling for their rights. It said, here's a more detailed explanation. A symbol of resistance. The Haitian Revolution, where enslaved people successfully fought and won independence from French colonial rule, demonstrated that enslaved people could overthrow their oppressors and establish their own nation. Inspiration for Black Americans. The revolution's success resonated deeply with Black Americans, both enslaved and free, who saw it as proof that they could achieve freedom and equality. Fear in the South. The Haitian Revolution also instilled fear in white slaveholders in the United States, who worried that similar uprisings might occur in their own territory. David Walker's appeal in 1829, the appeal of powerful abolitionist, text written by David Walker, a free Black man in Boston, explicitly referenced Haiti as a glory of Blacks and a terror of the tyrants, urging resistance to slavery and racism. You got Frederick Douglass in Haiti. It says Frederick Douglass, a prominent abolitionist and civil rights leader, later served as U.S. Minister Resident and Consul General to Haiti, further solidifying the connection between the two movements. Other inspirations: the Haitian Revolution also influenced rebellions of Denmark Vesey, Nat Turner, and inspired Black intellectuals and activists to fight for freedom and equality. Haiti is a model. Haiti became a model for Black-governed cities and towns in Brazil, Cuba, Jamaica, Mexico, and the U.S., as well as a place where Black people could seek refuge and build a new life. Toussaint Louverture, the leadership of Toussaint, the leader of the Haitian Revolution, was prominently displayed in Black historical pageants and textbooks, serving as a symbol of Black resistance and leadership. So this was just, like I said, this came off of Google. This is what Google was talking about. So shout out to everybody coming in. Shout out to you, Cash. I see you up here, and Andre as well too. So, and I'm gonna even go a little bit, and I'm gonna read some of that as well too. But DJ, I think me and you were talking about it earlier, and I'll say this right here: for those that were free black people in the United States during those time periods, they would have more. They would have a better access to material to even hear about a revolution going on in the Caribbean than those that were in bondage on these plantations. Like the average black person, you got to remember, if you're talking about in the antebellum South, you're talking about people who, for the most part, the only time they ever really left that plantation is if they were being sold. Most people, most black people, unless they were sold, they never really stepped foot off that plantation, to be honest. So, to say that, hey, they were inspired by the Haitian Revolution when, for the most part, you can't read, you can't write, you can't gather for anything outside of church or something like that as well too. I don't know how much inspiration. Now if you're talking about free black people in the country and some of these people may have been educated, yeah, I'm sure that some of the scholars, like it mentioned, some of it I'm sure it has some impact on them, but I can't see it having an impact on the average black person, the average black person that was ignorant of their surroundings. They knew little to nothing because that's how they were brought up. They were brought up to be ignorant. They were brought up to be slaves. They weren't educated. They weren't informed on any ideas, anything educational, anything like that as well too. So I don't know exactly. And it's not like the slave owners is going to come in there and say, you know what? Hey, guess what, Jimbo? They just had an uprising in this nation, and these former slaves, just like you guys were, they overthrew their masters and now they're an independent nation. I just, I have a hard time believing that. Shout out to the people over there on YouTube, Nightfall and Polo Styles. And Nightfall says highly unlikely for several reasons. Polo Styles says no, it didn't. It made it worse on the plantations of America. They had the white had to instill fear because of the Haitian Revolution. Nightfall says correct. Most slaves in the South and a few in the North were educated and illiterate. So how would they ever heard about a revolution in a country they never heard of? That's what I'm saying there. You can't read, you can't write, you don't know anything about directions, you don't know anything because the slave masters want you to be the perfect slave, to be ignorant to any and everything as well too. So I don't really know, how much you're gonna really know about it. It's just you don't have any access to information. Hell, if you do get off the plantation to go somewhere, you got to have a boarding pass, a pass that you can't even read. So what's going on with you, Stephanie? How you doing tonight?
Hey, what's good? What's good? What's good? Shout out to everybody in the chat. Did they inspire Black Americans? I would say, I'm not going to fully debunk it, but I just want to put out there, people tend to leave out the part where we had rebellions here long before they even had their rebellion in 1804. We've been having, the first rebellion was in 1620, I believe. I think a little bit earlier than that. The Stone Nose Rebellion, the people would look it up. But instead, they like to lock out the history like we were just, people that didn't know anything and was stupid. This is why a lot of stuff get tossed around and some people just jump on it and say, hey, maybe this did happen. And from what I was told, after the rebellion, the 1804 thing happened, it made slavery worse here for us. Okay? Anybody got the book, The Willie Lynch Papers? It pretty much talked about how to control the slaves here in the United States. So it must have some type of relevance if they made things much harder for us here. And maybe that was inspired by the Haitian Revolution. But people tend to leave these things out. But, as far as I know, I don't think so. I don't think it had a full impact, other than it made things a lot worse. But other than that, that's basically what I have to say for right now. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you. Okay, I see the Black Receipt. What's going on? I know you had requested to come up and speak. Did you want to go and add anything to it?
Yeah, what's going on now? News Total, DJ, everybody else in the room.
What's up now?
Chilling, man. I I really feel like this little Haitian Revolution little story, it's a facade. I ain't saying that they didn't have their little own rebellion on the island, but just the major part of the story, I doubt the legitimacy of most of it. And I say that because...
How so? Because I want you to explain that to me. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, I say that because you got to realize the Anglo-Americans, the ones that got their freedom from Britain, they never stopped warring until up to World War II. Like they always been fighting somebody. While the so-called Haitian rebellion was going on, we had many rebellions throughout America, and also you got to think of it. We was in the middle of the Barbary War that started in 1801, and I feel like that's somewhat kind of like the facade that the islands play, because we have to realize after America won its independence in 1766, a lot of people got kicked out the country, white people and black people. The Tories and the Jacobins, which became the people who liberated Haiti later on, because most of them was Jacobins. A lot of them went to Jamaica too. That's why they still under the British crown somewhat and under the French crown. So these are folks that we somewhat help white people kick out this land too, because you know what I'm saying. I'm not gonna deny that a lot of these Caribbeans have some former Black American ties. Some of them got tricked out their spot, and some of them just chose the other side and ended up being on the losing side and had to leave. And we done did that to every country that had an occupying piece of land over here, from the French, the Spanish, the different type of European tribes, from the Dutch, because the Dutch was really the first ones to somewhat come over here, other than the Germanic Vikings, because they had New York, and when it was called Amsterdam, we kicked their ass out, and the Spanish, they had all of Florida, all the way up to Texas, when it was called West Florida at that time. We made them chop it up. They kind of gave half of Louisiana to the French, and then they gave it back to them, and that's what caused us to so-called buy the Louisiana Purchase. That so-called popped off the Haitian Revolution, what made Napoleon try to take over Haiti. And I just don't believe the way these white people work. I don't believe the French would sell land from the Gulf of Mexico all the way to Canada for a little island. It don't make sense.
So you saying that you doubt the actual complete actually I don't want to say story, but the actual complete history around the actual revolution.
Full narrative. I don't believe full narrative. No, because like I said, a lot of these people was formerly here and fighting on different sides under different flags, and they just got kicked out. Shit, before we became full prisoners of war. You know what I'm saying? We was on the side of a lot of these these WAPs and Anglo-Saxons fighting with their ass. That's how we had a lot of free populations of free people of color, because shit, they was fighting for their freedom.
So let me ask you a question. Try not to curse too much, bro, but let me ask you a question. Do you believe when they say that this was the first basically successful slave revolt, actually the first actual slave people to free themselves in the Western Hemisphere, that they became the first group of slaves to go ahead and free themselves by defeating their slave masters and actually forming a nation? Do you believe in that narrative?
No, I believe they allowed them to believe it. They gave them the false perception of autonomy, kind of like these other islands. They got the false sense of they run everything, but they really don't run their own affairs. Kind of like how the Native Americans end up getting tricked into being codependent to the U.S. government, and they basically like children. They wards of the state. Kind of like we somewhat wards of the state, because we not allowed to run our own affairs. And then we still running off of maritime law when it comes down to certain aspects. So, like, I got this book called Friends of Liberty. It's about Thomas Jefferson to this dude named this Polish dude, which the Haitians kind of get. That's one reason why the Haitians say Polish people can claim being black, because of him. But he fought over here in America, and this dude named Agrippa Hall, this black dude named Agrippa Hall, and the Polish dude ended up dying and leaving his will to Thomas Jefferson, and he was supposed to free a lot of slaves using the money, but he never did. He just reinvested into his property because he was in debt. But the crazy part about that, the black dude ended up outliving all of them, and he was able, able to tell his story. Like he got his picture in the White House, in a couple of places, but he was part of the Revolutionary War and all these other wars, the Barbary War. He was like a key part that a lot of people don't talk about because he was like a spy. So he went under multiple aliases. You can look him up, but I just say a lot of these people worked under different aliases to do covert work. So and they fought under different flags, because back then everybody was renegades. So you could be selling under one flag, robbing one group of people, and then put up another flag and rob another group of people. That's how they were doing in the middle of the sea.
All right. Well, let me go ahead. I appreciate that, Black. Let me go ahead and get to Melissa, and then anybody else that wants to speak as well too. Melissa, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing all right. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good.
So in 1526, was believed to be the first enslaved Black people came to the United States, South Carolina, with they were brought by Spaniards from the West Indies, and they revolted. That was 1526, long before the Haitian Rebellion, and they succeeded. They killed a lot of those Spaniards. A handful of people survived and went back to the West Indies. These Africans vanished and probably became merged in with some tribes that lived in the area, and may even have become some of the ancestors of the Gullah people and the Chesapeake Bay Indians, in my opinion. But there's maybe 400 of them, I think, enslaved Africans, and they succeeded. So, to say, well, all these revolts were inspired by Haiti's, like saying that nobody else who was enslaved is smart enough to want to be free and be willing to fight for their freedom. And then of course there's Nat Turner, Charles Deslandes. There's no evidence that they were inspired by Haitians. It's ridiculous. It's just Haitians trying to tether on to us is all that is. Just like they're trying to claim Louisiana, they're trying to tether on to us, take credit for things they had nothing to do with.
I think it's the reverse.
All right, appreciate that. Thank you, Melissa. I got a professor up here as well too, and DJ, I want to hear from y'all. Fresh, Miss Fresh, I see you down there. What's up? definitely anybody wants to speak on this, I want to hear what people got to say. I'm going to touch up too, like I said, because there's some articles on Google that's highlighted talking about the influence that it had on certain scholars and everything else as well too. But I definitely want to hear what the room has got to say as well too. Go ahead. You got it, Professor.
Yes, thank you, Total, and shout out to all my family in the space. Shout out to all of y'all. Hope you all have had a good day and you have a very good evening, or you are having a very good evening. Now, with that being said, and I was talking with Total about this earlier, our people were already doing things to free ourselves because we knew if anything was going to be done in this country to help ourselves, we were going to have to do it ourselves. No matter how afraid we were or whatever the case may have been with all the different ways they could have been in danger trying to free themselves or whatever they were trying to do for the cause of freedom, our people were already finding ways to rebel, finding ways to free ourselves, finding ways to try to even get legislation. Like we have been doing a lot of this stuff, getting ourselves in the abolitionist movement. We have been doing a lot of stuff in this country for ourselves. We were not inspired by some group right now that don't even own Haiti. See, this is the thing. I hear these Haitians say this stuff, but look at Haiti over there. Now, I want everybody in this space right now, because you can't really look at Haiti right now, but I just want you to close your eyes and think about this, because I'm going to take y'all back to how, what's her name used to do it on Golden Girl. So picture this. Haiti, 2025. Where are all these people at now? Over here in America, 2025. The so-called country that was, or island, or country, whatever you want to call them, supposed to be the ones that set the standard. They was the standard bearer for the movement, for the revolution of black people, right? But look at these folks. They all over here. So now, where is the revolutionary mindset at this point in time? So why you not over there in Haiti right now doing revolutionary things? See, there you go. That's what you have to look at. Where they at now? And see, if you supposed to be so-called free and standing on your own, then you wouldn't be all up over here. You running all up over here trying to cosplay into Black American spaces, cosplay into our movement, along with these Jamaicans and everybody else. So where are you, for real? You ain't over there trying to be independent, revolutionary people? So why should we believe anything about what you saying that y'all set the standard for us when it comes to revolution? No, you didn't. You didn't set nothing up. You have been cosplaying and leeching off of us for the longest. But you want to have some kind of way to come up in here and everywhere else to find a way to get into our movement, try to get into our reparations movement, to try to find a way to be a part of Black America's movement. And we ain't trying to have you up in here. Because you folks ain't revolutionary for real. Shoot, you over here eating cats and dogs. Y'all going in folks' yard, stealing them or something you doing. But anyway, I'm going to land right there. I just want y'all to picture this. Now, you all going to open your eyes again. Open your eyes, because we all took a little trip down that lane. Looking at what's going on with Haiti. It's all run down over there. It looks like total shit. Excuse my French. And they all over here. They ain't trying to go back over there to fix it neither. Y'all notice that? Look. Okay, tell you what. Close your eyes again. Picture this. That video that they put out there, I think it was about a month ago. This was right after, maybe a few weeks after Trump was just got into office, right? When he took over. Remember that video, I think it was out of New York, of the Haitian man talking, no, man, I ain't going back. I'm not going back. He was hollering out. I think they had him in some kind of. I know he was in the back seat of a car or something. I think they had him handcuffed, and he was hollering all out the window. I ain't going back. No, I don't want to go back. I'd rather die. So that's what I'm trying to tell you.
I remember that. Yeah.
You remember that, Toad? See, that's what I'm trying to tell you. But these are the people that's supposed to be revolutionary, right? Yeah, whatever. I'm gonna land right there.
All right, appreciate that, Professor. What's up? DJ's up here. Cash is up here. I'm not Cash. I know you came up here. I don't know if you want to speak right now or you just chilling, but if you do, let us know. We'll
2 notes.
Go ahead. You got it. Oh, you said
I appreciate you having the space and the conversation. I don't think that the Haitian Revolution inspired Black Americans to do much of anything. I do want to mention 2 different inspirations, though. The first one is the Seminole War in Florida. Southern Florida was formerly Spanish Florida, right? Colonial Spanish Florida. There were Black Americans who actually ran south to freedom. Not just north following the North Star, because colonial Florida had ended slavery before the rest of the colonies. And the Everglades and all that, like the swamps and stuff in Florida, crocodiles and all that, my understanding, Black folks lived alongside native populations that were in that region all the way up until the 1830s when Andrew Jackson invaded, met with them, and then essentially led towards forced deportations and stuff, trying to push them to Oklahoma. But there's a Wikipedia on a man named John Horse. John Horse was essentially a general of the Seminole Army, for lack of a better term. And this man was completely Black American. And the white folks who arrived at the Seminole area, the Everglades, they said that 70% of the people living there, from their eyes, was formerly enslaved. So, and they fought 3 different wars against the American government before they picked up their people and moved to Oklahoma to grab who was left. And then, in my understanding, ultimately landed in Mexico, where slavery had been abolished compared to Texas at the time. So I just wanted to shout out John Horse and that war, which some argue led towards the Civil War as a continuation, because Oklahoma, Missouri's in that area, and South Carolina, I heard about it. The only other thing I want to mention, so that's where I would say the inspiration, and shout out Nat Turner as well. The only other thing I want to say is, and this is a trigger warning for the room and for those who are listening. And I understand that there's a weight with some things that we talk about, so I just wanted to say that out loud. There's the Haitian Revolution, and I'm not trying to say it shouldn't have happened, to be clear as well. So shout out to Jean-Jacques Dessalines. But there was a lady named Delphine Lalaurie, a French woman who was a slave owner that had moved to New Orleans. And there's a haunted house left over from the tortures that she committed against Black Americans because she was afraid that we was going to be the next people to revolt. It was mentioned earlier that there were inspirations of white fear in America that led towards backlash. And I can mention 9 or 10 different examples of what those types of backlash are, but I would be preaching to the choir. But just Delphine Lalaurie, if anyone looks her up, you'll see that she was, first of all, her cook was chained by ankle to the stove. So she was meant to just stay there and work night and day. Probably couldn't go to the bathroom. She ended up setting a fire during a party inside this slaveholder's mansion in order to bring attention to what was really happening in the attic. When the white folks and Black folks stormed her mansion and opened the attic, they found people whose bones was broken in ways that can make them fit into small boxes, people whose intestines was cut open so that it was wrapped around their necks. And I'll skip on the rest of the tortures, but I just want to make it clear that this lady was a very sick individual who eventually made it back to France. But everyone will tell you that the reason that she committed those tortures wasn't just her hatred of Black folks. It was also her fear of losing her French power, which she saw the Haitians usurp in their revolution. So I just want to say that they got their revolution, but we got hit 10 times harder before our freedom came. And I pass my.
No.
I think I saw a documentary on her, actually.
All right, that was pretty informative. Thank you, Cash. And that was pretty. The details are pretty gruesome as well too. And I know you said you left some stuff out too, so you can only imagine how bad those actual details were that you didn't even touch up on. So, but thank you. As always, coming up here dropping some knowledge. DJ, you got it. The Black, we'll get to you after DJ.
Go ahead, Black. Go ahead, the Black. Go ahead. Let the family talk.
No, I was just gonna add that if you recall back, the French Revolution and the American Revolution, they both somewhat started over in the American mainland, and by them people losing, a lot of them end up retreating to Haiti and to the islands. And when all the islands was having their revolts, like the brother Cass said, a lot of them retreated back to the mainland because before they was having their revolts, the mulatto class that was being formed there came to the mainland to get educated. So like you can see like they somewhat always had a connection to the mainland, but it's more realistic that by the different slave revolts happening in America would inspire the islands to do them, because we had different news clips of different occasions going on throughout the country of Europeans being scared of their slaves doing certain things. That's one reason why they were so big on conquering over Florida and running the Native Americans out and trying to take over Canada, because those were the two places that freed slaves before the actual colonies did. So they were trying to stop them from either going up north or going down south. That's why we got so many different Black Americans, like the Nova Scotians that started hockey, or a lot of Black Americans end up going to the Caribbean after certain wars, either on their own volition, trying to seek freedom and build different coalitions. So it's more reasonable that it was the reverse.
All right, appreciate that. Go ahead, DJ, you got it. And shout out to everybody coming up in the space. Y'all make sure y'all retweet the space out too. What's up, Aunt Live? What's up, bro? I see you down there as well too. Retweet the space out. What's up, Mary? Anita, I see you guys down there. Mr. Finn, Major X. Go ahead, DJ.
Yeah, no, I'm just agreeing with what everyone's saying. Shout out to Cash, their story in there. You know what I mean? That brother definitely be ripping. But how can we, be inspired by anyone when we, like folks said, we haven't even left this place to be inspired? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, there might have been some folks maybe down off the coast of Florida, or maybe even off somewhere in Texas that might have heard something, you know what I'm saying, from what's going on in Haiti or whatever the case be. I'm pretty sure the news spread, but not to the point where other slaves, I'm sure, weren't on these plantations already thinking of their own revolts. I think we got to understand science a little bit, where the human body is meant to survive and wants to stay alive. So your whole thought process of working in this hot ass sun all day, being whipped all day, having to serve these cracker knackers all day, man, I'm getting the hell up out of here, bro. One day or another. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting the hell up out of here one day. You know what I mean? So how can the Haitians be the inspiration to us? You know what I'm saying? When Professor said, hey, look, these people are warring right now. Not to make fun of that or, anything like that. If they so smart and they started everything, why aren't they where we are at? Why are they always in turmoil and things are happening where they can't take care of themselves? In that sense, you know what I'm saying? And also, what we also need to talk about, because, we talk about this economics and everything, why aren't these Haitians wanting or willing or ever have gone back to Haiti to help build it up? Let's talk about that. You know what I'm saying? That should be your next revolution. Getting all the Haitians all around the world, go back home, B. Look what's going on over in Haiti, man. I know y'all can't be scared of this one dude named Barbecue. And see, that's the other narrative about why I don't want no immigration over here anymore. They say they running from all types of turmoil, when in reality, you really just running from your own people. We didn't run from the Bloods and the Crips. Why y'all running from the Nietas and the barbecues? You know what I'm saying? What you running from the MS-13s and the Lion Kings for? Those your peoples. You know what I'm saying? Some of them your cousins and all this other stuff. They doing bad. Y'all don't check them. We check our cousins. Hey, cuz, get that gat up out of here, man. Hey, yo, bro, get that dope up out of here, bro. I ain't trying to get caught up with you, P. You crazy? We just got to go outside and fight, cuz. You feel what I'm saying? I got too much to lose. So why they ain't telling their own people that? You got these Mexicans, they travel the cartelling each other across the border. How the heck these people get $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 to come across the border and then file for whatever type of asylum hardships and then get money from our federal government where you, sir, pay taxes at? You, man, pay taxes. That's correct. And live free for the next 2 or 3 years. This government never gave us anything. So, hey, Haiti, if y'all talk about y'all inspired us, well, maybe y'all should take a look at us now, and hopefully y'all get it together. Go ahead, Melissa.
Real quick before Melissa hops in, when you saying that, like, look at them and look at us, you know that the response is going to be that, okay, well, you guys got to remember we were hit with economic sanctions by the entire Western world. We didn't have anybody to trade with. We got held hostage by France at ransom. We had to pay them. I think in today's equivalent be a few $100 million or something like that as well too. So we didn't have anybody to trade with. We was ransomed by France, and they'll say in the 1920s as well too that the United States came over there, and I believe the United States stole money from the Treasury as well too. So they'll say that, hey, we've been pretty much targeted by the white world. And that's one of the main reasons that, we weren't able to come up or be successful or be, well off or decent or whatever, because, hey, we've been targeted by the U.S. We've been targeted by Great Britain. We've been targeted by France. We've been targeted by everybody in Western Europe. We had nobody to trade with, anything like that as well, too, including the United States over here in this section. They also say, they'll say that black people, and this is what they'll say, so I don't want anybody to get mad. They'll say, well, you guys in America are better off than us because white people didn't just up and take everything and leave and just leave you guys destitute. They'll say that as well, too, that, hey, white people, still live in America and they don't want to see their country fail. So that's why you guys aren't as off, because you hear that from a number of people in the diaspora say, hey, you know what? Only reason y'all not as bad off as we are is because it's white people live over there in America with y'all. So I'm just saying what I've heard, and everybody else in here has heard as well too. But go ahead, DJ, and then Melissa, we'll get back to you.
Yeah, black codes, Jim Crow, slavery. We've been in every war. We built stuff that the modern day world uses every day. You know what I mean? Take some of these Avengers away, your life would be hell 24/7. You know what I mean? So when they say, hey, well, we had all the stuff placed upon us and this, that, and the third happened, there are articles out here floating around that America has lost $16 trillion, yo. $16 trillion for not economically helping black Americans since the Civil War. You know what I mean? $16 trillion. So now you got these cracker knackers running around here, because that's what we was talking about earlier this morning in the space. That, hey, y'all worried about what Trump doing with this DEI stuff, even though it don't mean black people. And y'all wouldn't be going through that, like Black Majority said, if y'all wasn't burning down our towns, burning down our shops down in Tulsa, burning up our neighborhoods. Maybe you could have came and got a job with us. But see, you so anti-black and hatred and prejudice and all this other stuff, you ain't thinking about that. But here's the thing, right? These other nationalities worship white people anyway. See that? So at the end of the day, if you start worshiping these people, like our elders and ancestors obviously got to the point, we tired of y'all looking to y'all for anything in that type of sense, because we have no choice. Get up and do something on your own. Hey, you lazy Haiti Naka. Stop by saying you lazy. You know what I'm saying? That's what y'all tell us. That's what y'all tell us when y'all come here. That's what your new Haitian people are telling us. See, the ones in the 60s, 70s, and 80s that came over here, they was cool and stood to themselves because they just wanted to do what they had to do for their family. Fine. Y'all new jokers that think y'all really be up here running y'all mouth, and you heard what that Haitian joker said, Professor, I think it was mentioned, that got caught by ICE. I ain't going back. I'm going to kill myself. But thank you, Obama. That's telling right there, bro. What you thanking Obama for? He can't do anything for you moving forward. And you've been here since 2008 and ain't trying to do it the right thing. Get a job, go to school, open a business, get your citizenship up.
All right, let me get to Melissa, then we're going to get back to Cash.
So, if they were successful in Haiti with the rebellion, why would they even want to go to some place like Louisiana where there were still slaves? You know what I mean?
Got toilets there, sister. They got toilets there.
And there were slave rebellions every place there were slaves. They were in Mexico, they were in Brazil, they were in Cuba. Why not just say, well, we were inspired by everybody else? You know what I mean? So, and most of the Haitians that came here were white people anyway. They were not even Haitians. Like, they were black Haitians. They were white people. And it's not like they were advertising and spreading the news to their slaves about the rebellion. I mean, come on. Really? They that desperate? Then, they're so smart and so superior. Why don't they just go back over there to Haiti? Build up Haiti.
You know all my struggles.
Get rid of the cannibal over there and take back their island, and take back their reparations when they're currently paying to France. Why don't they just do that then?
No disagreement from me on that as well too. I think if they're really going to ever build Haiti up, that's what's going to have to happen. You have to have a number of their citizens that left and went to the U.S. and France and these other places, and then you have to go over there and take it back. You have to channel the ancestors over there, and y'all gonna have to go ahead and actually go ahead and just take it back, because if not, it's going to stay in the shambles like that. Haiti has a lot of natural resources it's sitting on as well too. And what was it, the DJ that time? It was some kind of natural resource over there that I think that they may be only one or two nations on Earth to have, or something like that. That goes into these.
Vibranium over there, but I forgot what it's called. I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah, it goes into these aircraft carriers or firefighters, fire pilots or whatever. But whatever it is, that they're one of the few nations on Earth. I think it may be another nation that produces this stuff that is almost invaluable, and so they're sitting on all kind of oil and gold and everything else over there, man. That and it's going to get developed one way or another. We know enough to know that, hey, no matter how chaotic things are, if you can't control your resources, somebody else will come in there. And historically, they have been at the bottom. Ever since they won their independence, they've been at the bottom for a long time, the poorest nation in the Western Hemisphere. So it's going to take their citizens coming over there to actually go ahead and get this stuff straightened out. Cash, go ahead, you got it.
Yeah, I just wanted to add some zeros to DJ's point earlier about the 16 trillion. The article by Citigroup, which is all white folks that control $130 billion in assets, essentially, or let's say manage it. they only tracked over 20 years from the year 2000 to the year 2020, that $16 trillion figure. Separate from that is a book by a Black American named Sean Rochester called The Black Tax. Not the one by the white author more recently, which
that book's fire.
Yeah, there's two by the same name. The white author calculated Black American economic disadvantage to the tune of $600 billion, but the Black American book by Sean Rochester tracks ever since the end of the Civil War and the end of slavery. You know, because we did start at zero and didn't receive reparations, how much was our communities pillaged due to race riots, racist housing appraisals, redlining, and so forth? You know, denial of access to banking and so forth. And he was able to quantify $70 trillion, 70. So I just wanted to shout those numbers out. But just back to the 16 trillion article real quick. They had a bullet point that I like bringing up. $200 billion plus has been lost from all Americans due to white folks being racist in housing appraisals. Meaning when a Black person buys a home, racism says that it should be devalued in wealth. And this is also important because which causes everyone to lose value in America. And this is also important because our GDP, right? And you know, which people argue is how you can tell if a country is valuable to the planet. Our GDP is partially based off of something called FIRE, which is finance, investments, and real estate, RE. And so if our real estate goes down in value just because a Black person buys a home, all Americans get valued as less and our GDP goes down. So alleviating racism would actually cause Americans to be $16 trillion richer. That's essentially the point of that article. So thank you, DJ, for bringing that back into the combo.
All right. Thank you, Cash. Go ahead, DJ.
Yeah. You're welcome, brother, for sure. You know what I mean? We exchange information all the time. You know what I mean? It was something you just said, though, that made me think about something. You know what I mean? Yeah, so Sean D. Rochester, right? The brother wrote a book called The Black Tax, right? So in that book, he says we're entitled to X amount of trillions of dollars. That's 10 times the amount of Dr. William Darity's From Here to Equality book. But the stark difference is that Dr. William Darity's book, From Here to Equality, is not based off slavery alone. It's strictly based off the Reconstruction era until right now. So Dr. Darity also just upped the ante. I think it was from 14 trillion, 15 trillion to like 16, 17 trillion because of the recent inflation. So the longer America don't pay us, Haiti NACA, just like the Clintons owe you all these billions of dollars they stole from y'all, just like the French, you shouldn't have paid them nothing after you killed them and took everything back. What you paying them for? You know what I'm saying? That shouldn't be a form of reparations to them if they enslaved you, silly. You know what I'm saying? So in reality, you need a refund, Haiti. That's why y'all ain't got nothing, because you're not thinking. You know what I'm saying? It's just really that simple, man. But shout out to our ancestors and elders that's been thinking. We got to continue on to thinking, man. Let's go.
All right. Let me read something real quick. Give me 1 second. Let me find this thing. This is from this the Civil Rights Teaching, the civilrightsteaching.org or something on this website. And they had a passage in there. They were saying that throughout the 18th, 19th century, 18th, 19th, 20th century, Black intellectuals used the history of Haiti as a guidepost to freedom. The Haitian Revolution influenced the rebellions of Denmark Vesey, Nat Turner in 1833. Maria Stewart, an influential Black woman orator, used Haiti to inspire free Black people to struggle against slavery. In 1854, William Wells Brown used the Haitian Revolution to inspire Black people during the fraud period prior to the Civil War. Frederick Douglass, of course, we read that earlier, served as a U.S. minister, resident, and consul general to Haiti. The Progressive Era leader Anna Julia Cooper focused her dissertation on the analysis of the impact of the Haitian Revolution, a close examination of many of the Black historical pageants of the early 20th century written by Black female educators, lauded the importance of Haiti as they uplifted Black students' identities. For instance, the heroism, of Toussaint is prominently displayed in Nanny H. Burroughs' historical pageant, When Truth Gets a Hearing, and textbooks written by Black female authors. The leadership, the leadership and other key leaders are shared to give students a correct rendering of history. Like I said, there's a number of things that AI and that AI is pulling some of these articles up offline and saying, the importance and the impact that it had on Black Americans and globally what it had on Black people as well too. Go ahead, DJ, you got it. Anybody else that wants to speak to in the listener section, come on up and definitely feel free to speak. Shout out, I see Trouble down there as well too. Go ahead, DJ.
Yeah, it's okay to be inspired by someone, but that don't mean you gave us the blueprint. And that's the problem right there, where we are fighting here now in today's time. When you got jokers like Ho Joe, aka Fat Joe, saying, "Oh well, we created 50% of hip hop." Well, how can that be? You know what I'm saying? When hip hop comes from revolution, you feel what I'm saying? Just like you got in the title, y'all Puerto Ricans wasn't going through the same revolution Black Americans were going through. You see that? And they are no different from the Haiti knackers, in my opinion, because they got the same latch on tether mentality where it's like, hey, well, if it wasn't for us and what we were doing in the civil rights movement, they wouldn't be where they are right now. You see what I'm saying? And the same process is granted to anyone that's a immigrant, got my fingers up, coming to this country. This is why I keep saying to you, we got to go back and do that Immigration Reform Act again and see who was instrumentally involved in allowing other folks from around the world to come here. You know what I'm saying? And then hopefully that will lead to, all the gatekeeping that we see recently in the last 4 years, how Joe Biden just blatantly let these people in. And not to say it's all Democrat gang, you know what I'm saying? The Republicans got just as much to do with this illegal immigration, you know what I mean? But the Democrats really want illegal immigration to erase us. So they waited, they don't know how to do anything for us. When we get upset, we burning it down. You already know what time it is, start playing with us. But you saw the other tethers, like these Mexicans, you know what I'm saying? They recently trying to do the same thing. These Afghanistan Palestinians, they recently trying to do the same thing. What happened? You got deported. So you should have kept being quiet. Don't worry about what's going on overseas or in your home country. You over here now. Ain't nothing you could do about that. And that's all politics, a.k.a. the white man, what he do. You know what I'm saying? With the powers that be, because you just saw Matt Gaetz and them, they got caught exchanging text messages, you know what I'm saying? Talking about they about to go blow them Houthi knackers up, you know what I'm saying? And rightfully so, because they is some terrorists. You know what I'm saying? But ain't they just really starving people like them Haiti knackers too? You see what I'm saying? So while y'all Houthis ain't trying to get y'all stuff together, take some of them cargo ships, sell the merchandise on eBay, get the money and come legit, like the mob. Y'all ain't trying to do that. Y'all whole process is rob, steal, kill, repeat like a white supremacist, Haiti. So it's like, hold up a minute. You can't inspire what has already been done. American Revolution, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, like we could just go on and on and on. You know what I'm saying? We don't fought in so many wars. We already had it instilled in us what to do. You see what I'm saying? And let's not talk about other things that were going on here too, where it's like, hey, we also understand too, and not to take away from this too as well, but to add on to it, like, slaves here were getting done a bad treatment, and when they revolted, you feel what I'm saying, had their own individual revolution where they got sent to Haiti, to Jamaica, Dominican Republic, other parts of Caribbean, Puerto Rico, and they got punished there. So it's like, hey, it ain't no argument of who started what. The problem is why you ain't catch up yet. Like a 57 Hans, you know what I'm saying?
All right, appreciate that. Let me read a couple comments and shout out to Nightfall for the contribution on Cash App. Nightfall says, besides that news story, we had our own successful slave rebellion. It's called the Civil War. Polo Style says they didn't have social media back then, so how they knew, plus a lot of them couldn't read or write. You had Born Critic says there were at least 6 slave revolts in America before 1804. I'm definitely and you're right. The slave revolts, as we learn in school and stuff, they don't put those slave revolts in these history books as well too. So you had a bunch of slave revolts that took place in this country. I'm going to read something real quick. This is from the Library of Congress blogs, and it's talking about quote unquote the relationship between the Haitian Revolution and how significant it was in the Americas. It says Haiti became a beacon for people in America, specifically those of African descent, as a nation that fought against slavery and for equality. The Haitian Revolution inspired uprisings and established black governed cities and towns in Brazil, Cuba, Jamaica, Mexico, and the U.S., among others. People often think about Haitians immigrating to the U.S., but there was a time when Black Americans immigrated to Haiti. For many African Americans in the early 19th century, Haiti represented Black freedom and an opportunity to thrive in a nation that embraced equality. What were relationships like between African Americans and Haitians? I believe there was a sense of collaboration and solidarity, but there were tensions too. Brandon R. Bird details these connections and tensions in his book, The Black Republican, African Americans, and the Fate of Haiti, which we have at the library. Let me go. He says, they said, was agreement among Black leaders about Haiti. You had people like Frederick Douglass, a runaway slave and abolitionist leader who became an American ambassador to Haiti from 1889 to 1891. He saw Haitians as a positive force for all Black people. Others criticized Haiti every time it fell short of expectations for a perfect society. Do Black Americans have a common bond with Afro-Caribbeans? I think there are connections, especially when you look at the history. Haitians were so welcoming to African American immigrants in the early 19th century. Both groups shared a common thread of fighting for freedom, equality, and respect. But similar to what Black Latinos experience, Haitians deal with what some scholars describe as a triple consciousness. Being Black, American, and Caribbean, I think that leads to different means for showing up in the world and representing one's community. People have to code switch in order to express themselves in response to their immediate audience. The influence of West Africa on Haiti and African American culture is notable in food and music. You can see it in the U.S. The connections are present. What's missing is the ability to reflect on them. Okay, so like I said, this is like I said, I was going to point out a couple of these different articles and stuff that they had, on the internet and stuff, talking about Haitians and Black Americans, the connection and the inspiration and everything else as well too. So I wanted to, like I said, I wanted to go ahead and share that as well too. Shout out, I see my girl Trouble done made it up here as well too. So shout out to Miss Trouble. And Trouble, whenever you want to speak, let me know or whatever. We'll get you on or whatever. I like to know exactly because okay, we know how hard it is when we're talking about slaves and stuff back then in America. Okay, when you're escaping bondage, we know that you have to go and you have to go through the wood areas. You got to go through the forest, the jungles, all that, whatever you at that time, the landscape. You got to stay off the main road. You have to travel mostly at nighttime. So I it was hard enough getting up north and getting to Canada. It was hard enough, depending if you was in South Carolina, getting to a state like Florida. I like to know how many, how many actual Black Americans actually were able to actually leave America and get to Haiti as well too, because now you got to have a boat. Not only do you have to make it down south, and not only do you not know directions, you don't know east from west, north from south. Most of them, occasionally you did have some, but now you got to find a way to secure a boat. And you got to know, and you got to know exactly where you're traveling to. So I want to know exactly how many, and I know say it was welcoming, and I heard that they told, once they gained their independence, they told, all the Black people in the Western Hemisphere, hey, if you can get over here, you're free and this and that or whatever. So, but I just want to know how easy, because it wasn't easy traveling back then. You're talking about going from state to state, city to city, town to town, and you got to do it discreetly as well too. You got to be out of the eyesight of white people. You can't just be a Black person walking around in a township or whatever, and you don't have some kind of boarding pass or something, some kind of explanation or whatever, letting people know that, hey, I'm Mr. John's property, and I'm just going to pick up some chicken feed or whatever. So you gotta, I would love to know the sheer number of Black people in this country that were able to make it to the Caribbean, make it to Haiti, and gain citizenship there. Trouble, go ahead. You got it. How you doing tonight?
Hey, I'm doing fine. How you doing, News Toter?
I'm doing good.
Shout out to everybody in the space. Black family, good to see y'all. Rel down up in the cut.
I just came up here to say that the one of the things that Haiti has the second largest iridium deposits in their country. It's a metal, and it is worth more than gold and Bitcoin. So everything that you all have said is what I would have stated coming up here as far as the inspiration of the revolution goes. Our history has been so hidden and so bastardized that we had our own uprisings going on over here. So who is to say that it wasn't our uprisings that actually inspired the Haitian Revolution? I think sometimes, and I hate to do these comparisons because to pull one of Rella's favorite words, sayings, two things can be true.
She stole that from me, sister.
Whatever. But, excuse me, I think we could have inspired them, and maybe they could have inspired certain parts of us over here in the country, especially because we, like Tota pointed out earlier, we had a lot of slaves over here who couldn't get right. I think it was Tota or DJ who couldn't get right, you know, and rather than killing them, they would take them to different areas, to a Haiti or to somewhere in the Caribbean to punish them, to beat them. Who's to say that those slaves that went there didn't tell them about some of the uprisings over here, or didn't tell them why they was actually there? I'm there because, you know what I'm saying, I was whooping Master's ass, you know. So I don't think we will ever really know the full truth, but I'll just say that I think both places could have been an inspiration to each other to a certain degree. Maybe there were abolitionists who heard about the revolutions going on in Haiti and in certain parts of the United States, relayed that information back to some of the slaves here and gave them some ideas. Who knows? Earlier, Tota was saying about all of the questions that Haitians would say in response. Well, you know, we had this going on, you know, all of the white people took all of the, you know, whatevers, and they hauled ass, and, you know, then we were in debt to them, and they would be absolutely right in what they were saying as far as that comparison goes. But again, like Rella says, two things can be true. They can be right about that, and then at the same time, we could be right about the fact that, you know, we had our own inspirations here. We was getting our ass whooped, our heads bashed in. We were getting killed, hung, lynched, decapitated. Pregnant women lynched and their bellies cut open. All of the atrocities that we faced over here, that is enough. You don't necessarily need that inspiration from someone else to do what you have to do here, because you're going through the same things, if not worse. So I don't never really too much care about the comparisons of who inspired who. It kind of seems like people want to look at what it is Black Americans have accomplished here and somehow insert themselves so that they can take credit for our greatness. Well, you can't take credit for our greatness. You'll never be able to take credit for our greatness, because even if we were inspired by something, who was the one who executed it? See, there's a difference, like DJ said, it's a difference between being inspired by something and being able to execute it. I could be inspired by Michael Jackson all day long, but I might not be able to execute that moonwalk like he can. I might not be able to grab that crotch and kick that leg up in the air just like he can, but I could be inspired by it.
Come on, sister.
Come on. You know, it's really ridiculous. At the same time, like was already stated in this room, yes, we had white people over here that kept the economy and whatever. Hell, we were the economy. We were the contraband. We were the reasons they had an economy.
$1,500 a slave, sister, on the stock market. Let's go.
Right, and at the same time, we have proven that when we came out of slavery through our Tulsas, And there were more than just the Tulsas, the Black Wall Street. There was more than just that one incident. That is the one that gets mentioned now. But when we go back into our history, we see that we had many Wall Streets, which meant even through the oppression we were going through, we were still able to carve out a piece of something for ourselves and build within the Black community, build within us, and have our own banks and these things. So when the white folks left everything in Haiti and left them there, okay, you could say they left us destitute, but you had skills. You would have had some of the same skills that the slaves over here had. Why didn't you maintain it? Where were your Black Wall Streets? You should have had a whole country of Black Wall Streets over there. You have minerals in your country, ores in your country, metals in your country that could have put you on the map. But again, tribalism and murdering each other came first.
Barbecue,
yeah, that barbecue guy. You got people like that over in Haiti, just like over in Africa, that is impeding progress. I don't like the comparisons because they try to make it seem as if the only reason why we have anything that we have over here is because of the white man. No, we have everything that we have here despite the white man. Despite him, because he's been doing everything in his within his grasp to keep his foot on our necks. And even with his foot on our necks, we still rise. We still rise. We're going to continue to rise. They haven't figured out why the hell these niggas won't die. They have systematically brought melanated people from around the world at the same time, bringing white immigrants from around the world that want to continue the pattern of keeping their foot on our necks, and we still continue to rise. They brought all of these people into our communities to destabilize us. And sometimes, yeah, it may have knocked us off of our game, but we still swinging like some mofos. So the comparison sucks. And whether they was an inspiration to us or not, why come that revolution hasn't inspired them now? And I'll end.
Hey, I can't disagree with what you said there, Trouble, because that with the history that they have and just the shambles, and everybody's lifetime in this space, everybody that's alive in this space, Haiti's been the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere, and just not poor, just war torn and just poverty and just when you think about Haiti and stuff, man, you like
natural disasters, the earthquakes.
I'm not even talking about the natural. I'm not even talking about natural disaster. I'm just talking about the economy, the people, the actual shape in which they're living in over there, and everything else as well too, man. It's been to have a proud history like that, because I can remember we doing book reports in school and stuff, and you have Haitian kids do book reports on the on the Haitian Revolution, but when you think about it, most of them either were born in this country or left as a baby or whatever. You never heard any of them say, we're going to go back and we're going to fix Haiti up. We're going to do what we got to do to get us back to to the position we were once at as a proud people or whatever. So there's a lot of stuff you got to do in Haiti, man. And here's the thing, you have the resources, and not only that, for the past 50 years, a lot of your people have been coming to the U.S., getting educated and everything else like that as well too. So when you get the education and you get the training and you get the skills and you get this and you get that, you have to have people go back and try to fix it up as much as possible. And yeah, we know, we all know about neo-colonialism rule and stuff like that. But here's the thing. If you were mere slaves and you were able to beat, at that time, probably a top 5 military power in the world, and I know that France, the vast majority of the French army and navy and everything was over there in France. So you didn't have to deal with Napoleon breathing down your neck and some of that. But nonetheless, you were nothing but a bunch of slaves with damn sticks and whatever you could get your hand on, and you were able to defeat these people and you're able to back them up. So that sense of pride and stuff in there, like I say, that to me, the people that's gonna really inspire is got to be your people. You know, like I say, I didn't learn about the Haitian Revolution until I was like in high school or whatever. So you know, it wasn't something in terms of Black history that really was something that we talked about during Black History Month, anything like that or whatever. Because pretty much we focus on Black history that happened in this country or whatever. So, when I started hearing about that, I probably was in the ninth grade or so, or 10th grade or whatever, and I started hearing about the Haitian Revolution or whatever. Because I was even shocked. I like, wow, I didn't know Haiti had this kind of history behind it or whatever. Because in my lifetime, seeing it, it's been dirt poor or whatever. So I think, like Trouble said, you got to take that stuff. You got to do like the Japanese and them did, and like a number of these other people, when they came to America, they came to these Western nations. Once they got educated and everything else, you got to take what go back home and fix it. And you got to understand with the chaos over there, it ain't gonna be easy. Yeah, you're gonna have these political puppets sitting up there and this and that, whatever. But you are the people of the actual land, and y'all got to unite and do something the same way y'all did it before. When y'all say, hey, we've had enough, and we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. You got to get that mindset back as well too. You are the majority. It is your land, and you can do it if you have the same fire in your belly that your ancestors had. And that's the question: do you have the same fire in your belly that they had? So in terms of inspiration, to me, the inspiration is really with your people. That's where the inspiration really lies at or whatever, because when you look at, what do you want to say, Black people or melanated people globally or whatever, and you look at, you're talking about a lot of times, a lot of the freedoms of people came almost, over 100 some years later, really after this actual revolution. Like you're talking about 1804, but Black people really in this country really didn't start getting free to the 1960s. So exactly how much of an inspiration? Yeah, we did the Civil War and everything else like that as well too. But in terms of just finally having our own freedom and stuff like that, it wasn't until the actual 1960s, and the African continent, a lot of them started gaining independence in the late 50s and the 60s and stuff like that as well too. So just in terms of that, if you're an educated person, yeah, that would be influential. I'm sure people like Douglas and people like him that were well read in that day and time, that had gained freedom, were no longer slaves, were educated and stuff like that. I'm sure that did inspire them. But as a whole, the people that was out there in those fields picking tobacco and cotton and working as blacksmiths and working on these railroads and everything else like that, how much of an inspiration that was to these people that couldn't read, couldn't write. There was no internet. There was no library for them to go to. There was no sharing of information amongst each other that was going to serve you, to help you out. I don't know exactly how much of a real inspiration that was to the average Black person in this country. I don't know how much of that inspiration that was to Black women that had to nurse these white babies on these plantations, or had to nurse their own kids out there in the damn cotton fields picking cotton while you got a child on your breast or whatever, suckling. So I don't know how much of an inspiration that really was to our people over here. Like I say, there were educated people. I'm sure that did play a part. There were writers and everything else, people that were coming up. That played a major part, and that inspired them. But in 1804. How many? I mean, I'd like to know the actual amount of free Black people you had in the United States at that time and place. You're not even talking about the 1860s, you're talking about 1804. There wasn't a whole lot of free Black people as compared to the ones that was in bondage. Melissa, go ahead. You got it.
So Frederick Douglass actually escaped on a ship, to answer your earlier question. Is there were slave people who were employed by their masters. In Frederick Douglass's case, he met somebody who was willing to help him. He borrowed his protection papers, his uniform, and that's how he ended up in freedom. Some slaves were able to get to other countries as well. I don't know how many, but as far as literacy is concerned, like you said, most enslaved people couldn't read or write. There were some that could, but most of them couldn't. And, you know, there was no internet back then. There was no TV back then. A lot of white people couldn't even read or write for that matter because there's no formal education either. So,
yeah. Well, listen, I want to know how many because Haiti was a free nation. If you got to Haiti, you got freedom and everything else like that. So I understand, like you were saying, that that there were black people that got on ships and they were able to, you know, go places and this and that. But how many ships were going to take you to Haiti, though? That's the thing. Like, how many people are actually able, if you were a runaway slave, to actually find, you know, something to board, a ship to board, and you actually get dropped off in Haiti, or you able to, you know, find your way to Haiti? That's the thing. I want to know what was the amount of people as compared to those that went up north and went to Canada, or as compared to those that came to Florida. How many actually made it to Haiti? How many of them actually, you know, actually left this country and actually went to Haiti and became actual citizens over there?
man, I have no idea. I know so much of Great Britain, but I don't know. I don't think anybody wanted to go to Haiti. It was a dump even then.
Well, I mean, this is the thing they're saying that at that time that, you know, I guess if you were a slave and you said, and you, if you by chance did hear this black nation that gained this independence and gained this freedom, I would assume that, you know, if you were trying to get freedom, that you may say, hey, you know what, I'll go to this actual place here, or whatever. You know, I don't know. You know, because from my understanding, I think Haiti was doing pretty decent at one time before it just fell in total despair. But, you know, I could be wrong. But that's what I like to find out. I like to find out how many actually, you know, like I said, with all of the problems you have trying to just escape and make it, and just to, you know, the you gotta eat on the run, you gotta constantly run, you gotta rest, you gotta get water, you gotta do all this, and you also gotta stay off of the main roads, and you have to travel at nighttime. You have to deal with, let's be for real too. We're talking about at this time in the United States. A great bit of it was wilderness as well too. So you got to contend with animals and stuff like that out there in the wild as well too. You got to contend with snakes, and depending on what time of the year, you bobcats and every mountain lions and everything else as well too, depending on what state you in and everything else like that. So it wasn't going to be no walk in the park either way. But I would love to find that out as well too. Detroit, go ahead and unmute your mic. How you doing? You there, Detroit?
Yeah, he probably had work real quick. He probably come up with
Mic check.
You got it?
You gotta get off that headset, dog. Let's go. Ski 50 mile now, cause come on, man.
Come on, man. I need this motherfucker. I lost one.
Just say delay back.
Yeah, don't drop the MF. But we can't hardly hear you, Detroit, because you kind of mumble on that headset. You there, Detroit? Okay, we'll come back to Detroit then. I know he's at work. Let me go ahead and get back to Stephanie. Stephanie, go ahead and unmute your mic.
I'm on. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? I'm outside now.
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to say, you know, the Haitian Revolution and everything, off the title or whatnot, you know, it inspired black folks, you know, but it was just one little story of inspiration, though. You know what I'm saying? That wasn't our only inspiration. We had millions of where we're from. You know, some of us get inspired by our grandparents. You know what I'm saying? That's something that a lot of these people don't understand, even the immigrants that come here. The white ones, too. They don't understand that. They don't understand that we've been here 600 years. They trying to equate their 10 years here into 600 years being here. Like when the immigrant comes here, he be like, you black Americans. Like, nigga, we've been here 1,000 years. We got family all through this mother. I can go to fucking any city, really, and chill. What the fuck you talking about? They don't understand.
Hey, language. Well, go ahead, Detroit.
My fault. But they don't understand that. They don't understand. They don't understand our mindset. They focus on the individualism of black Americans. They can't gravitate towards the family-oriented black Americans. That's why they always bring up such to fuel their inspiration on to be better than. You know what I'm saying? And they you know, the Haitian the Haitian Revolution and anything that happened in any other country will not oversee what we go through daily and what we are taught. You know what I'm saying? We got a lot of older black folks out here in the 80s and 90s. Some people 100 years old. Y'all know dang well some of the older black folks in their 90 years, 80 and 90 years old, looking good, traveling. Some of y'all probably go to family reunions. You know what I'm saying? So you got you know, and a lot of the immigrants and you know, they don't know that. They don't know the secret society on our end, where how they to the point where they say Chicago, bang, 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 shoot them up, shoot them up, shoot them up. But when you go to certain areas in Chicago, you won't even hear a gunshot. And it's all black folks. So what's really going on? You know, so they gravitate towards, you know, that side. They can't gravitate towards our side because our side equates for them to even not speak on their side. That's like if you was from Philadelphia or Cleveland and you moved to Detroit, by a year you're gonna be like, I'm from Detroit. You don't even care no more. You know what I'm saying? This where you at. You here now. We don't want to hear where you from. You either with us or you against us. God dang it. You know. So, you know that Haitian thing. You know, it's more. And it was like just one little story out of millions that inspired us. The story of Rosa Parks inspired us. You know what I'm saying? The story of Martin Luther King inspired us. The story of W.E. Du Bois inspired us. Carl Anderson inspired us. Johnny Cochran inspired us. Kobe Bryant inspired us. You know what I'm saying? We got so many stories. So they just one little story out of a big book with 50 million pages. On to the next chapter. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. That's about it, though.
All right. Appreciate that, Detroit. Thank you. Let me go ahead and get Miss Stephanie back up here. Shout out, I see Robbie down there in the listener section as well, too. What's up, Shannon? I see you down there as well, too. Go ahead, Miss Stephanie. You got it.
Hey, okay. I just wanted to say this, right? Everybody says that we don't have any culture or understanding of what it is to speak as well, right?
Turn that TV down.
Oh, God. I'll get back to y'all.
I thought she was at work. It sound like elevator music in the background.
She over there watching Full Moon and drinking on stuff.
Sound like the Bachelor music or something. Stephanie, you ain't watching The Bachelor, are you?
The Labo, soon we'll be making that time of fun.
Shout out to my girl Stephanie, though. Shout out to her as well, too. Professor, you've been quiet for a little hot minute, man. What's going on? What you think about the conversation thus far?
I have to say I've been listening and loving everything that everybody's been saying. Everybody making some very good points about like Trouble brought up the fact that both sides could be true, right? And that is true, because we could have been inspired by the Haitian Revolution, but then they couldn't be also inspired by what we was doing here. You have to remember, and another point that Trouble made there, our history has been, of course, removed, rewritten, and vandalized so many times, okay, by the so-called white man. They have taken stories that should have been in these history books, and they rewritten them. A lot of stories have been left out, just like they buried bodies where we still don't know where all the bodies are buried, by the way. We don't. Because they have tried to hide so much of the history, okay? So we hear about this Haitian Revolution, but one thing for sure, there is a lot of history within the mainland of America with our people that has probably not been told or shared or some kind of way been hidden all because people don't want it to be told. They don't want it to be known. And we know that with white people in America, they don't want a lot of stuff to be known or told. That's why they try to do a lot of dirt underneath so things can't be known. They try to hide it, okay? So we have to be aware that it's more to what we have done in America than what they're putting in these history books, okay? We are a group of people, the non-immigrant class of people, that's us, Black Americans, who have done more to revolutionize all of the blacks, or whatever you want to call them, dark melanated people across the globe. That is us. We have done that, okay? We are the leading dark-skinned black people, if you want to put it that way, okay? We are that leading group. Now, I'm not taking nothing away from what other groups have done in their other lands or whatever they have done. Kudos to them. But I will say this, as I stated before, as we look at the Haitian group now, what are you doing now to fix what's going on over there in Haiti? Because it looks like to me ain't nothing going on over there. Except you all been trying to come over here, and the last time I heard anything, they said y'all was all in Alabama, which you have been, and up in Ohio, trying to get people's dogs and cats. See, that's the revolution right there. Y'all started a new revolution, chasing cats and dogs. That is. That's what y'all doing right now. And then you got the guy, like I said, that was up in New York. He ain't going back. He was committing crimes. See, so what are y'all doing? What are y'all doing? What are you Haitian doing now, right? Y'all brag about the revolution that you supposedly inspired us on, but what are you doing now to inspire any of the dark melanated people across the globe right now? What are you doing? Hell, come to think of it, well, all you other dark-skinned African diaspora people doing? What are y'all? Look, what are you Nigerians doing? What are you Jamaicans doing? What are y'all doing? Last time I checked, the Nigerians still scamming. They scamming folks. All the rest of y'all scamming folks too. Leeching, coming over here, trying to take what's ours. All up in the Congressional Black Caucus, putting your people up in there, trying to pretend like you're Black Americans. See, y'all, that's the thing. Y'all come over here to pretend to be us. Then you want to dog us, but you want to be us. That's right. You want to be down with us. Even though you try to hide it, you be like, nah, we better than y'all. But you be trying to be down. You be trying to be down with us. But we ain't trying to be down with you. Not for real. Not if you ain't trying to be down with the cause. And the cause is we trying to free ourselves from white supremacy. And we trying to free ourselves to the point where we want to make sure we get what is due. What's due to our families, what's due to our ancestors, reparations. That's what that's all about for us. If you're not in with that cause to help us with that, then get the hell away from over here. And don't be eating my dogs and cats. Okay? Hey, look, y'all gonna come over here, buy deodorant, because they giving y'all free stuff.
All
so
right,
don't.
You gotta go. Don't go to that point. But we got it, Professor. Let me go ahead and get to Melissa.
All right, so I found an answer to your question. It says here, this is AI. During the 1820s, the estimated 10,000 to 13,000 free African Americans from the northeastern United States immigrated to Haiti, drawn by the image as a land of black military power and racial rights, though many returned due to harsh conditions.
All right. Thank you, Melissa. Thank you. So most of these people, so I'm assuming that they were up north and they had to be free as well, too. I'm thinking if they, because you say they were up north when they traveled to Haiti?
Says that they were coming from the northeastern United States.
Okay, yeah. So they're in the Northeast United States. I would assume that they were already free people. I would assume that. I know, of course, we know the North had slavery as well too, and depending on what territory, what state you were in, and depending on what time, 10 to 13,000. That sounds like a lot of people that travel to Haiti in that day and age. So that's quite interesting right there. I wouldn't think it would be that many, but that's quite a number right there. So let me go ahead and get but thank you, Melissa. I'm glad you found it out because I did want to know. Stephanie, you ready now? What in the world? Did they just kick me out of damn? Okay, like I got kicked out of the room. Hey, can y'all hear me?
You sound like you had cut out there for a second.
I did. Like as I was saying, Stephanie, are you ready? And like it's like the whole like it just kicked me right out the room.
The issue. I ain't gonna cuss no man.
I'm ready.
You got it, Stephanie.
All right.
Okay. How come they're not addressing the fact that if it wasn't for Poland, they would have lost the war? And they I don't know what it is with people having a gripe about us, but what about when Bush made that speech when he said if Haiti sank to the bottom of the ocean, it's basically they wouldn't care, it wouldn't be messed. So that incident that happened with that guy, that was actually, I think, Boston. It was some part of Massachusetts when that guy was being deported. And he kept saying, thank you, Biden and Obama and stuff like that. But, I can't put my finger on it, but why do they always try to target us so much with this nonsense? Y'all was almost about to go back in slavery until y'all decided to agree to pay France back. Okay? And not only that, y'all took and turned against the people that actually fought for your liberation in the first place. So what is the point of even bragging about that? I'm going to land. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Miss Stephanie. And also thank you for the contribution on Cash App as well, too. Nightfall says, if that's after the Civil War, they may have been a little of what Lincoln was talking about with recolonization. So yeah, that would be interesting to find out what Melissa was saying about the actual. We could find out. I wish we could find out the actual time period of when they actually traveled, because we know. I would assume from after 1804, you weren't going to get a whole lot of people right directly after that. After the war with them in France. You wouldn't have a whole bunch of them going right then and right there, right afterwards. So it would be kind of interesting to find out exactly. Who knows? It could have been over a 50-year period or something like that. I find it interesting as well, too. Melissa was saying from what the AI told her, at least, that a number of them returned back because the conditions were too harsh down there. That's that's something in itself as well, too, because I know at one time Haiti was a rich colony of France. And of course, I don't know how it looked after the actual war between them and France over there. It could have been war torn or whatever, whatever. But I find that interesting that a number of them left and say, hey, you know what, it's it's a lot more harsh and this and that. Considering that, I'm sure a number of those people were former slaves themselves as well too. And they say, you know what, we'll go back to the U.S. instead of trying to make it over here. So that's pretty interesting in itself as well too. DJ, I know you had your hand up. Did you want to go ahead? Because I know I think I went to Stephanie, and then I was going to go to you. You there, DJ?
Come on, thing. Yeah, I got caught in the matrix myself. Yeah, Stephanie want to go ahead and talk or whatever she could talk about, but I see no one got their hand up.
She already talked. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, for sure. I got you. Just to add on to what everyone is also speaking about right now, right? So the other narrative is to, like you said, Professor, what have they done lately? Let's just forget everything that was prior to like the 80s. Let's just talk about for when they really got here in the 80s. You feel what I'm saying? The Haitians, at least over here on the East Coast anyway. You feel what I'm saying? Northeast New Jersey, you know what I'm saying? So when they came here, and I'm old enough to remember it was just black and white here. So since they've been here since, you mean to tell me these Haitians that have made something of themselves haven't gone back to try to establish and set up shop and do all this other stuff and get doctors together, lawyers, nurses to make everything right? Hey, like that dude that got locked up by ICE, he said, I ain't never going back. And that's how a lot of these illegals feel. They never going back to their home countries, but they always quick to blame America, though. You look, this is the same narrative that you tell anyone. Those are excuses because you can't fault what someone did to you. You got to move on, right? That's exactly what they tell us. You know what I mean? Oh, slavery was so long ago, DJ. Yeah, but hold on a minute. Oh, you just want welfare and all this other stuff. But hold up a minute. Oh, y'all just want stuff from the white man. The white man gave y'all everything. This is what these people be saying to us, y'all. So, hey, man, enjoy your country over there with barbecuing them. You know what I'm saying? Put some extra sauce on them human legs y'all gonna be eating. You know what I'm saying? Or them dogs or whatever y'all consuming. Because at the end of the day, y'all always constantly mention us and trying to compare yourselves to us. That ain't gonna mean nothing because at the end of the day, we striving to moving on. All modern day inventions were invented by a Negro. All modern day music was invented by a Negro. What y'all doing, yeah?
All right. Let me go ahead and get to Cash. Cash, you had your hand up. Did you want to say something?
No, my bad. I passed Mike.
No, okay. Nightfall on YouTube says, before the Civil War, the abolitionists talked about sending slaves back to Africa or other places like Haiti to deal with the slave issue, thus the birth of Liberia. So, yeah, that is true as well. I just, like I said, I was just, when she mentioned those numbers, the 10,000 or whatever it was, I was just like, wow, that's a lot of people. But I knew, and that's what I was saying before. She was saying it was in Northeast. It was in the Northeast because I know damn well those people had to be free. Those people were already free people for the most part that was up there. I knew it couldn't be nobody in the South that was on plantations and stuff. And I'm like, how in the hell you going to, first off, how in the hell you going to get a boat? And where the hell you going to go at? Because you've never been out on the water. You've never been out in the ocean before. You don't know where the hell you're going to. So how exactly was this even possible? So I'm glad when she mentioned that it was from the Northeast or whatever, because it couldn't have been from the Southeast. So I'm glad we were able to kind of understand that, because, you know, when people by foot, they're going up north or whatever, and they cutting between all these places and this and that or whatever. Like I said, I just didn't see how you was going to get out there in the ocean. You don't know the first thing about boats. You don't know how to swim either for the most part. So, you know, that wasn't going to be no easy trip there. Go ahead, Cash. You got it.
Pinned up above, an article that mentions how America loses $150 billion annually due to remittances. People who move to the country and of their own volition send dollars back to their homeland. I was looking for the specific line I wanted to quote, though, that spoke not just about remittances or social welfare programs in general, but specifically about the GDPs of certain nations being dependent on these remittances. And it quoted Haiti, for example, as disproportionately needing remittances to the tune of 30% of its GDP. But I wanted to quote it exactly, and I was hoping I would find it before you called to me. But anyways, that's kind of the ultimate point. I wouldn't call that a recipe for success. If a nation's GDP, 30% of it depends on its people leaving to make money elsewhere to send back there, they're kind of sitting on a house of cards. And it's the sooner the better that they go back home to reinvest and build up than to continue surviving off of American aid and the excess of their wages, because soon it won't be enough.
You made a great point there, Cash, and that's what we were talking about earlier as well too. When you hear people sitting up here saying that, and I've never understood that, they said, "Well, you know, I'm sending back money home and this and that." We know Mexicans do it all the time as well too, and stuff like that. But you get a certain number of those Mexicans that will go back and will actually because they know that US dollar is going to go far compared to that peso. A number of them will go back home and stuff like that as well too. But I don't understand why you don't have more, you know, some of the Caribbean folks like in Haiti and some of the Africans, you know, it's great to send money back home and to support your family and this and that, whatever. But it would be more beneficial to go ahead and take the skills that you learn and come over there and implement it into the actual country. That's the only way you're going to have economic growth. That little bit of money that you're sending over there is just not. It's not going to turn it. It's not going to do it enough for you. Dr. John Henry Clark mentioned that as well too. That the Japanese, after World War II, after Hiroshima and everything got bombed out or whatever, they came over here. They brought their students over here. And they told them, like, hey, your job is to basically come over here, get educated, and come back and bring that knowledge back to your people. And we see the kind of, the economic success that Japan has had. Of course, Japan was always a highly skilled place anyways. But, in terms of the manufacturing sector and everything else, that really took off once a lot of the Japanese came over and got educated. But they took that knowledge. They didn't just say, you know what, we're going to stay in America. We're going to stay in the West. No, a number of them did stay over him, but a number of them, hey, said, you know what, we're gonna go back and we're gonna take this knowledge and we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna improve the actual livelihoods of our actual people over there, in our country. And I just don't see that enough with some of the global black people. Like it's like, hey, we're doing well here. I'm making $80,000 a year, and I'm gonna send back $3,000-$4,000 or $5,000, even $10,000 to your family and this and that, which is all nice and whatnot. But go over there and try to build some infrastructure and teach and mentor and that kind of things as well. So especially if you're educated, whether you're college educated or you have a trade or a skill, you can go ahead and you can apply that. Cash, go ahead. You had your hand back up.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I found the line. Please, room.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. It's on page 3. I'm being redundant, but just for the sake of the specific scholarship, many nations rely heavily on remittances. In fact, remittances make up to 10% or more of the total GDP in approximately 35 countries. In a few nations, such as Haiti, rely on foreign money to the point that remittances constitute more than 30% of their GDP. The nations that are heavily dependent on remittances are almost exclusively developing countries with lagging economies. And so that's what I'm saying. Like, if they're lagging and they're sending monies from America, it's not helping. See what I'm saying? And again, it's a massive chunk of what their GDP is, which I think is kind of a falsehood. They're inflating how much they generate and contribute to the world, when really they're counting monies that they're not generating in-house, simply put.
All right. I appreciate that, Cash. Thank you. Very, very, very good. I mean, y'all staying on point tonight as well, too, so I definitely appreciate that. We're not going to keep the space going too much longer. So anybody wants to speak, go ahead and speak now. Go ahead, DJ.
Yeah, so I know we're about to close out in a second. So just like any other show we have done, and we talk about this is the problem. Okay, so now what's the solution, right? Well, first of all, Tom Harmon and Trump, you're doing a good job. Get these knackers up out of here. Let's start there. But we're not, ignorant or not wanting to be on accord with any other culture, because we have tried and attempted that, and we're still trying to attempt that. So, all right, check the solution, right? So when Haiti knackers, y'all got to go get y'all stuff together. It's just really that simple. And when y'all, and you look, just like anyone, you fall down, you need help. We'll help you pick it up. You know what I mean? But you got to go check your people first. You got to go tell Barbecue to stop letting these rapists and thugs and criminals out of jail because he think they need to be free. Some of them prisoners actually harmed and raped and murdered children. Yep. So let's start there, bro. Other thing is, you have to stop killing your own people, Barbecue. You know what I'm saying? Let's start there. You know what I mean? Now, here's on the flip side where some of these jokers say, well, what about black on black crime? Y'all have nothing. You can never compare what it is we're doing over here to what y'all doing right now. You have no other options, it seems like. You know what I mean? So with that being said, and just for the record to mention in black on black crime, there's crime on crime in every culture. And no more so is prevalent in Haiti, where your own constituents of the government has been stealing from y'all also. So let's just not mention the white folks that have been stealing and tormenting and terrorizing and dictating and being a tyrant to Haiti. Let's talk about your own peoples. See that? It is a reason why your last leader, I can't think of the brother's name, but rest in peace to him, he was assassinated right in front of his own wife, because I'm pretty sure he wanted a revolution and some type of financial institutions to help benefit Haiti. But y'all not looking at it like that, because like you said, you got all the individual ideology. You know, you got folks that even was back in 1804, y'all say, hey, we had to kill these coons in order to move up in the ranks, in order to start letting our people see, hey, look, this is what we should be doing. Same thing over here with us. We got a lot of coons and jokers that's throwing monkey wrenches in the game of our reparations claim. That's our own people. We got to get them up out of the paint. So this is a two-way thing right here. So, hey, Haiti, y'all got the land. We over here in the West Coast. Black Americans are forming our own black state. We're going to need some of that Haiti land to grow some food and ship it back over here. So you already got a business with us. You got to go get your stuff together. And yeah, that was right. It's iridium. So let me tell y'all about this iridium stuff, right? This metal, when polished, looks sexy, yo. I'm telling you, yo. So one day I went to a music convention, right? And for those that, you know, that understand music equipment or whatever, y'all probably have heard of a Norman or a Newman. Some people just might pronounce it microphone. This German technology, Nazi technology, but it ain't gonna stun. It's dope. You know what I'm saying? So they have a iridium Norman microphone I stole at this convention. This is years ago. You know what I mean? Now we talking. That thing was worth 10 grand, yo. The microphone, yo, because of the iridium. It won't corrode. It won't rust. It won't. It's dead and indestructible, like some vibranium type looking stuff. You know what I mean? And it looked good as heck. It looked way better than like some stainless steel polish, or like, you know, whatever type of surface polish on metal that you could think of. Like a little way shinier than a penny. You know what I mean? Brand new. But go ahead, though, man. And yeah, the solution, right? Again, is for y'all to go get y'all stuff together. We need to get our stuff together over here in America. And that way we can meet at the table and say, hey, you got this for trade, or we got this for trade. We want to buy, y'all want to buy. Or we get it, let's just naturally trade with no money. We just barter it. You know what I mean? You need something, we need something. Work it out that way. But until they get that understanding, because we are already there. We are the ones that have been extending the hand of friendship. You know what I mean? The business. Hey, coming to the neighborhood is all good. We got the same fight against the white man, all this other stuff. Nah, they side with the white folks. They identify as white themselves. Y'all Haiti knackers. Y'all come up here, wag your finger at the Black American natives. That's not fair. And then when y'all say so long ago, okay, we can say slavery and all this other stuff was so long ago. What have y'all been doing lately? That's just really what the narrative falls down to. Y'all just been chilling on the island, not really doing much, you know what I'm saying? So when you look at your Dominican counterparts, that's another problem that's right there too that y'all need to go solve. Y'all on the same island. Stop wanting to go across the border to Dominica and get resources and any of this other stuff. Start learning how to fix that stuff in your own neighborhood. And here's another thing that now I'm really just thinking about this stuff, because, you know, we always talk this natural disaster stuff. Why is it always an earthquake in Haiti but never on the Dominican side? Y'all ever asked yourself that? You on the same landmass in the same body of water. Earthquake hits the left, but it never touches the right. And you don't even hear no mention of the Dominican, of any tremors or anything like that that's been felt, or some of their buildings got knocked down during these earthquakes and natural disasters Haiti not had. So do Dominican Republic, y'all got anything to do with that? Y'all siding with the Americans or the Russians or the China knackers, making Haiti go boom, boom? You know what I'm saying? That's something y'all need to really be thinking about right there. Because at the end of the day, that don't even look right, B. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with Taiwan. If you look what happened with Taiwan with that almost 8-point magnitude earthquake, villages in China got decimated. See what I'm saying now? They on the same landmass. Other parts of Taiwan is, and I can't think of any of the cities or certain countries that's surrounding that area, but they got hit too. Taiwan wasn't the only one. So that's something to think about. Why ain't Dominican Republic getting hit like Haiti getting hit when these natural disasters hit? Something ain't right. Maybe they harping the weather, man. Because like you said, if they got that iridium over there, Melissa, they definitely trying to get them up out of there. And you already know these Dominicans no black. They side with the Spaniard knackers. You know what I'm saying? So they definitely don't care about your Haiti knackers. They kill y'all, man. We see it on tape. So that's why I never met a cool Dominican, no black. And Trump, you need to get them up out of here too, aka the Cardi B's. There you go. Surviving Cardi B. So let's go.
Hey, I saw something, Melissa. I saw something that you tweeted out about the what says 13,000 free African Americans from the northeast of the United States immigrated to Haiti, drawn by its image as a land of black military power, racial rights, though many returned due to harsh conditions. So I see that this action was backed by the American Colonization Society back in 1824, and apparently that they were even paying for transportation. And I saw another tweet. You said that that Haiti was even paying for transportation for people to come there up until 1826 when the government stopped paying for the transportation costs. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but the American Colonization Society, they were the ones behind the whole Liberia thing as well, too, weren't they?
Yeah, I believe they were.
Oh.
So anything to get us up out of here.
Yeah, I see that. So that makes sense. That now, like I say, because like I say, just when I was reading that, there's something that you had black people at one time, immigrating to migrating to Haiti, and I'm like, what black people we talking about? They would have to be free black people because there were no slaves sitting up here immigrating to no Haiti because it's impossible almost. I mean, yeah, you would have had what, 1 out of a million maybe could have made it there. Got to find a boat and everything else and all of that. And
I can't hear you, Tucker.
I'm sorry, you say you can't hear?
Yeah, you might have to drop down, Melissa. You might have to drop down, sister.
Yeah, Melissa, it might be your because I think everybody else can hear you. It might be your phone. Say it again so she can hear you, DJ.
It goes in and out sometimes. Like when you dropped out before, it's just so spurling. It just comes on and then like, oh, what happened? And then it just come back on because I was about to drop down and you was like, yo, can you hear me? I'm like, oh, there it go. So I don't know, man. Mm-hmm. Hey, Melissa, can you hear me?
You'll be taking 10 seconds to
hear
start playing audio.
Yeah, drop down if you can't hear Toto, okay? Go ahead, Toto.
Can you hear me now, Melissa?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, good. I see we got Sean up in here, and I'm gonna get to Cash as well. Sean, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Oh man, blessings. Thanks for letting me get on the stage and chop it up with my people, man. You know what I mean? Just did the Haitian Revolution inspired Black Americans. I did have a question that I checked the comments that kind of answered that. I'm gonna say this. Listen, check it out. If it did, it did. But that's not the problem. The problem is when Haitians bring that up, a lot of them were disingenuous. They try to make it seem like before 1804, we were just sitting on our hands singing "We Shall Overcome." And we had plenty slave revolts, and the record shows that. And another point I like to make is this. All of our leaders, did they ever mention, they got manuscripts and documentation. Did they ever say, oh, I was inspired by Haiti? Like, did Nat Turner say that? Or anybody say that? Did Frederick Douglass give props to Haiti?
Well, Frederick Douglass.
Any of our people?
I think Frederick Douglass was almost like an ambassador to Haiti for a couple of years at one time.
Oh, okay, for sure. So, here's the thing, man. As a conscious individual, you got to give the devil his due. If we were inspired, that's cool. But like I said, they try to use it as we were just sitting on our hands, begging and pleading until they gave us that gumption, which is not true and is very insulting and deserves a reprisal like this one. Here's an example. I'm like what Captain Ibrahim Torres doing over there in Burkina Faso. Man, I'll be checking in on it. I'm like, pop my collar to that brother, man. Right. That's like I'm part of the Black Majority State movement. I'm proud to claim that. Now let's say we actually take over some states to get it popping. It shows that they were inspired by that. No, we weren't inspired by what he did over there in Burkina Faso because we already had our shit popping and going and turning before that even happened. So it's kind of like the same thing. It's like it's a huge assumption to say that our revolutionaries and stuff were inspired by Haiti. A lot of people that did those slavery votes probably didn't even know what was going on in Haiti. But if they were, they were. I ain't got a problem with it. I saw the movie 1804. Hey, I get the devil's due. I popped my collar to them, man. They did their shit. But like our brother, excuse my language, I know you don't like cussing on this thing. I'm sorry. But like our brother DJ said, hey, time to repeat that though. Where's that spirit at though? You know what I mean? We need another 1804. Right now, the setting is a little different. Your enemy is a person who looks like you that's actually making things worse for you because you have too many sellouts and turncoats and people have been brought and paid that's actually in positions of leadership, right? So you're going to have to do like you did in Boss Cayman. You're going to have to do like what's the good Bookman did. You're going to have to start getting rid of the Bofote. That's what they call their quote-unquote coons. Until you start getting rid of the internal problem, you're going to always have a huge problem in our land. I'm rooting for them too, by the way. I root for all the press people. I ain't a hater. I'm not a demon.
Facts. Appreciate that, Sean. Thank you. Let me go ahead and get to Cash. Cash, go ahead and unmute your mic.
I was going to drop some quick facts about iridium. And I'm using help from AI as well, but some of this stuff I learned when I was in chemistry. It says that iridium's top 10 for metals that are high melting points, and it by itself has a melting point of 3,500 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's very valuable. It says that iridium is much more rare than tungsten even is, and tungsten is the number one as far as heat resistant, also corrosive resistant. Iridium is actually harder than tungsten, and iridium is more resistant to corrosion. Last thing is, just one more time that iridium is more rare than tungsten. I pass my.
All right, appreciate that. Thank you. Detroit, you had your hand up. Did you want to say something, or you good? Detroit, I know Detroit's at work, so he may be busy.
Yeah, mic check. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, I just want to say, it's a new day and age. You know what I'm saying? You got more black folks bringing awareness to our own plight and that ethnicity. I can't say the word right now, but you know what I'm talking about. Ethnicity, you know.
I still can't say bird. See what I'm saying? Sunday in that time.
Man, this nigga. Listen though.
Late night space now.
Listen though. I'm just saying we they thought, the plan was to bombard us with so much nonsense from the 1980s up until now, controlled by unknown forces. That manipulated folks to act a certain way, because if you notice how the time frame was, where after the riots, everybody started selling crack. Everybody, you know what I'm saying? After the civil rights era, it was so many things going on in between from 1970 up until now. And just so happened that our generation today, at the last moment, we caught wind of what the play was that happened. We lost a lot of black youth from 1970 until now. They were replaced by immigrants. A lot of the colleges were letting immigrants in because if you lose 200 in Chicago, 300 in New York, 400 in Texas, you know what I'm saying? If you lose so many black kids and they're not going to school and they bring another race in, they sending them kids in to take the places of our dead children. You know what I'm saying? And those people who took the place have grown into the political arena, became wealthy. You know what I'm saying? So it gave them a lot of umps now. You know what I'm saying? They got balls now. Because, if you ask an immigrant who came here during the 80s and 90s, they're going to be like, shit, we was around with black Americans. But then you talk to the immigrant kids who were born from the kids who came in the 80s and 90s. Now they assimilating into the world where, the manipulation happened. So that's what gave them the audacity to say where they're from is better than where we're from, but they're over here. You know what I'm saying? So many things going on in between that little time frame. Regardless of what happened. You know what I'm saying? So now we at a point where we acknowledging the fact that we got our own ethnicity. I can't even say it again. We got our own culture. We're proud of it. You know, so it's like we about to bump heads now. We know that we spend $2.2 trillion a year, annually with non-black businesses. We know that's only 50 million of us. We know that if we just take 30% of that, $2.2 trillion annually, that's still at least 10 million apiece per black person in America. We know that. We know reparations on the horizon. We know all that. Shout out to Haiti. Shout out to Africa. Shit. But it's a new day and age right now. We just getting futuristic now. We acknowledge the past. Shout out to Sophia Stewart. We acknowledge the past, but we gonna make sure the future ours though. You know what I'm saying? That's all we doing. It's just a natural state. Folks gotta deal with it. Folks gotta deal. White folks gonna say you're racist. No, man, I'm not racist, hunky. You burned down 200 plus times. You ran freeways through my black businesses districts across America. You enslaved me, and I'm still here. I'm not racist. What are you talking about? That's all. We gotta get sophisticated. It's sophisticated. It's sophisticated. We on some other stuff right now. That's all I gotta say. So shout out to Haiti, shout out to Africa, shout out to Brazil. Shout out to Ireland. They overran with immigrants now.
That's crazy, bro. You saying that, yo?
Oh my God.
I'm out though. Everybody, we cool though. Just my point of attack for y'all though. The reparations is real, but the delineation is even more important. Because if we spend $2.2 trillion annually, and it's only 50 million of us, divide 50 million into $2.2 trillion annually. To multiply that $2.2 trillion times the last 20 years here. We all supposed to be all these people supposed to be working for
language.
us.
Language. All right. Let me go ahead. We're gonna real quick, we're gonna go ahead and everybody be careful with the language as well too. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna get to the last speaker. It look like it's gonna be Ray, and then we're gonna end up closing this out because I do have some work I need to work on the platform for. So I gotta go ahead and knock some stuff out. So we're gonna go ahead and close this thing up in just a second. Gotta read a comment Nightfall said. He says, News Soda, do you think it's a coincidence that both Africa and Haiti have large deposits of precious minerals that should make them wealthy, yet they are both areas of extreme poverty for black folks? You hit the nail right on the head. Africa got more resources than everybody, and they're the poorest continent on earth. No, I don't think it's coincidence. And Haiti, by standing up and actually defeating France, they had to be made an example out of as well too. But both Haiti and Africa, and I know Africa is much larger than Haiti. Haiti's a small island. Both of them kind of have their they have their fate in their own hands. If they're able to go, if they get together, and we're always talking about all this global unity between black folks and melanated folks worldwide and globally. Like, before you can unite, and we said that in the spaces here before as well too, because we talked about having having a global companies to do business in other countries and stuff like that. But before we can go and do that, we have to get our stuff straight here. We got to go ahead and we need to form that kind of stuff in America first and foremost before we can go to Africa, or we can go to Asia, we can go to the Caribbean, any of these other places. And the same with them as well too. They have the resources. They have young populations. They are the majority. Forget all this neo-colonialism and this and that, whatever. If it's a puppet in place, you know what to do with that puppet. I'm not going to say this on the phone or whatever, but you know what to do with that puppet. If they're constantly installing puppets, and they've been installing puppets in these places for hundreds of years now, you know what to do with them. Either that, or let the puppet stay in place, let them rule over you, let them live as a king while everybody else is in abject poverty. But then don't whine about it. Don't complain about it. And don't say, well, we can't do this, we can't do that, when you can do it, especially if you have a history of doing it before. You can pull yourself up. You did it before. It's going to take y'all coming together. And like I said, forget all about the global unity of the diaspora and this and that or whatever. You need to have some unity in Port-au-Prince. You need to have some unity in Cape Town. You need to have some unity in all these other places that you're talking about before you can actually have this imaginary global Pan-African unity or whatever. It's not going to happen until you and your countrymen, the people in your cities, your towns and stuff actually come together. It doesn't make any difference about, what we're doing on this side of the world or whatever, if y'all can't do it in your own country. And not only that, once you go ahead and do it in your own country, that will spark people saying, hey, you know what? Let's get with them. Let's do some business. Let's get together. Let's do this. Let's do that. But nobody's seeing that right now. And your people are constantly, and I don't even know how the unity is going to happen if you keep having people leaving and not returning to build as well, too. So let me go ahead and get to you, Ray. I'm going to let you be the last speaker for the night, and we're going to close it out.
What's going on, y'all? Everybody doing tonight?
What's up, Ray?
What's going on, Ray?
What's going on, man? I just got a quick question for everyone. I want y'all to think, so the Haitian Revolution, that happened in 1804, correct? Yeah. So how are they going to inspire us over here in America? Because after the Haitian Revolution, if everyone recalls, the southern states, they started passing the strict slave codes. That's when they started banning literacy, and they were actually increasing surveillance because they didn't want an uprising like that to happen again. So how can they inspire us? That just, to me, does not make any sense. And to me, it just feels like this is kind of a way for them to kind of stick it to us, because obviously a lot of us are delineating or whatever the case may be. So they're saying, well, we were the first successful slave revolt. You guys look up to us. But really, that isn't the case. Because if you go back and you look at history, such things as the New York slave revolts, the Stono Rebellion, the Maroon Wars, the Natchez Revolt, the Florida Rebellion, the Gabriel Prosper Rebellion, etc., we have examples where we have fallen back in history. Yes, Haiti was the first one to overthrow the oppressors, but as everyone knows, they also had to pay their oppressors reparations. So what is inspirational about that, having to get a temporary victory only for them to milk the country dry and y'all live in abject poverty? And I land there. Thank you so much, News.
All right. Thank you. We go ahead and we're going to get ready to end this space for the night. So let me go ahead and give a shout out to everybody that came up in the space. I appreciate you guys. I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to have time to do one tomorrow, because I know I got to take my son to some activities and stuff. So I'm not entirely sure, but I'll see what's up and see if it's a possibility. If it is, I'll send out the notifications like always. So shout out to everybody up in the space, guys. We appreciate you guys, and we will go ahead and we will see you guys either tomorrow or we'll be back next week. So peace.
Peace out, family. Come to the late night space.